All right, good afternoon, everyone. Live here on 10 Tampa Bay. It is about 4:31 on our Wednesday afternoon, and we now have Potential Tropical Cyclone 19. This is the wave that we've been watching. 99L is the invest number, but you can see, look at the convection. I mean, it's definitely flared up out there today. You can see the center is back out here, but it is going to be catching up, and we do think this does continue to strengthen a little bit slowly over the next couple of days. And we do have Sara on the list. That would be the next name coming up. Now, you can see the convection. Also, see this little lower level here? Watch what's happening here. See that spin there? I think what's happened is this is trying to get stacked vertically. So you've got a spin here, you've got the convection over here. Once that gets stacked up, you're going to end up seeing quite a bit of organization. The Hurricane Center does now have a forecast track for what will be Sara. Right now, it's just Potential Tropical Cyclone 19. They do that because it's not quite organized enough to be a depression or a storm, but they are going to issue watches and warnings for areas, and they want to get that out of the way first. And that's what they've done. Here's the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. Nicaragua has a hurricane watch, tropical storm watch for the northeast coast of Honduras there. But look at the latest forecast track, and I actually have to kind of step you through this because it's a little confusing. 35-mile-per-hour winds late tonight into early tomorrow morning. That's 30-mile-per-hour winds now. But tomorrow around midday, that's when they think it gets to tropical storm strength, and that's when it will get the name Sara. But look how close it is to the coastline. And then by Friday, this is 24 hours later, it doesn't move. And in fact, it does just barely drift to the west, but it's still very close to land. Now, the center itself could stay offshore, but there's going to be a lot of interaction with land, and that's not too good with it. Having said that, they still think the atmosphere is primed for this to strengthen. So Thursday, tomorrow, lunchtime, Tropical Storm Sara. By the time we get to Friday lunchtime, we're just shy of a hurricane. I think it can get to it because we've seen rapid intensification this summer a lot, and that water is very warm. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Hurricane Sara by Saturday midday. After that, look at this. I mean, did you even see that? It just kind of looped around so that by Saturday at lunchtime, it's got 70-mile-per-hour winds. It's in the same spot. It just basically kind of looped. After that, it does move a little to the northwest, but not much. This is Sunday at lunchtime, about 70-mile-per-hour winds. And then here's the deal. After that, and this is what the models have not been showing us the last several days, they've got it moving into the Yucatan Peninsula near Belize, the northeast part of Belize. That will move it out over land, and that could just weaken it completely. But I still think there'll be some moisture left over. But you'll see it at 65 miles per hour by Monday at noon. Now, if you've been watching the last several days, we've been thinking Monday night and Tuesday was right in this time frame here. And if that was the case, it would be over warm water, and it could come up at us as a stronger system. That would be much weaker. It may even start to fall apart. Obviously, when it moves over land here, it will. Right? How much so, we don't know yet. But this is a much further south track, further west track, weaker system because it moves over land, less of a threat for us. All right, this is really good news if you don't want a storm, and we don't want a storm. Here are the forecast models. Look at the loop. You see the loop? A lot of the loop in here, then a lot of them now come here. Guys, a lot of these were up here and maybe over towards the north, these, excuse me, Yucatan towards Cozumel and Cancun. But this track right here will run it over land, it'll weaken. And then this that you see here is actually the remnants. Now, many of the models just want to loop it over, but I think what would happen in these big arches that you see here, this is actually remnants of the storm. Clouds, some rain, there's a cold front coming, and that almost makes a little more sense to me than anything else. I don't think it would be a developed system at that point. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are the tropical storm force winds forecast by the Hurricane Center, and they're all down south. They don't even get out of the Caribbean, right? It's really good news. In fact, most of those are right there on the northern coast of Honduras. Even Nicaragua is not going to see too much of the tropical storm force winds. The better chance would be there in Honduras. And then that extends all the way out in the Yucatan. You see small chances for the northern part of the Yucatan. Now, here is the actual wind field forecast by the Hurricane Center. The yellow is tropical storm force winds. Look at just sitting there. This orange that you see in here, that's about 60-mile-per-hour winds, just below that. But that's severe thunderstorm type of winds, right? Now, what's steering this? That big ridge of high pressure, which is the ridge that you see here, right? That's kind of the center of it. It's going to slide right over top of the Gulf of Mexico and then over top of us through Monday. that blocks us from that storm. That is a great thing to have. And so that's the Hurricane Center forecast. You can see 5 days out, they've got it right there. Now the question is what happens after that, right? Because we've been thinking the effects for us would be Tuesday night, Wednesday, probably Wednesday time frame, and this only takes us out to Monday. So let's go out to about Tuesday. There's the high breaking down, but still trying to bring the storm back around the backside, but it's moving over land. That would weaken it, could perhaps fall apart. And then as we get into Wednesday, now you see the front's out of there, or the high's out of there. Here comes the front, and it would just naturally pick whatever's up and bring it in our direction. So we want it to move over land. We want it to fall apart, probably end up being a rainmaker for us on Wednesday. Let's start with our local forecast model. Here we go with the lows starting to get a little bit better organized as we get through tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock in the morning. Could be a storm by then. They're saying lunchtime, but it's close, right? Sara, by the time we get into the afternoon hours, and that looks legit. You can see pretty good structure. The more of these white lines you see, the deeper the pressure, which means the stronger the system. That's not a lot, but that is organized, and that was likely a tropical storm. That's Friday at 5 o'clock. But you can see how close it is to the coast of Honduras there. Now watch as we go through Saturday morning early. It just does that wobble. So that's pretty much what the Hurricane Center's forecast is saying as well. This is our in-house model. Now, the colors you see here are very warm water, and that's energy for the storm. The lines, the green is the European model, the white is the GFS model. Lots of energy. The storms, they try and get a little bit strengthened. Both models, the European and the American, the GFS, suggest, yeah, maybe tropical storm, maybe hurricane. Right? The GFS has been thinking real strong hurricane here, and that's not showing up on the latest runs. This is Sunday at 8 p.m. There it is. Both models, same thing. Both models take it across the Yucatan by Tuesday morning early. Now, there it is on the European. Here it is on the GFS. Meanwhile, we've got a front coming at us. You can see the GFS takes it out here. The European's very similar with that. So what does it look like at that point? That's the thing, and I just don't think it's that impressive. This is just the GFS model. The colors you see here are wind shear, and that would blow this thing apart. So let's go out to about Wednesday. It's got something in here. Look at all this wind shear coming on it. And that's just what's left, because it's got to go across all of this. So all of that shear, those colors you see over top of us, is a good thing for us, because anything coming at us, number one, is going to get into some cooler water here, and number two, is going to get into some of this shear. Right? It's going to be coming in kind of at the same time. That was the GFS. This is the European forecast model, very similar to what the Hurricane Center forecast is, especially as we get out through Monday. Now watch what happens. It moves to the north. That's Tuesday. Look at all the shear back out here, even some over top of us already. But this is a cold front, right? And so that's going to sweep it up in our direction. See how it almost strengthens a little bit? That is more like a wintertime low pressure. Right? That wouldn't even be tropical at this point. Would give us some rain, a little bit of wind, but nothing major at that point, if that happens. So here's what you're used to looking at, regular forecast models, right? The green is the rain. Here comes the front. By the time we get into Tuesday, there's what's left, right? You don't see a bunch of these white lines, so it's not very organized. But this front will scoop that up, and watch what could happen by the time we get towards Wednesday. That's a real good rainmaker coming across the area. And there is a small chance we could get some spin-ups out of that. But that is not like a Helene or a Milton or anything like that coming at us, right? There'd be maybe some higher than normal tides, a foot or so, but that's more than anything else a rainmaker coming through. That's the European model. Here's the GFS model. You can see again, the green is the rain. Let's go out through the weekend, Saturday into Sunday. Now that's Tuesday, and there it goes. Same thing. Front just comes along and scoops it all up. So what we're looking at right now is potential tropical cyclone 19 will stay down here through the weekend. Monday, Tuesday time frame somewhere out here, and we'll have to see where the cold front is at that point, and it'll probably pick up and throw some rain out here. This latest solution from the Hurricane Center and the afternoon model runs that have come in make me feel a whole lot better about us not having to deal with a major hurricane or something like that us hitting us. We still have that chance. We still have to watch it. I think more than anything else it would be a rainmaker, perhaps a very weak and weakening tropical storm heading our way by Tuesday night and Wednesday of next week. And at this point, I think that has a lower chance of happening. All right, stay tuned to 10 Tampa Bay. We'll keep you updated right here.